Film Development Hell, Day 13, 4 weeks to the premiere is the name of this video. Why? Well, my name's Deborah Richards and I'm an independent film director from Las Vegas. And this YouTube channel is literally a day-to-day journey, vlog of my journey through the film industry. So in 4 weeks' time, our second film, Shaken and Stirred, the story of FLAIR bartending, the world's first ever full-length feature documentary about the underground world of competitive bartending. Can you see the poster there? Hold on. Let's move that up so you can see. There's the poster. So the premiere is in 4 weeks, and the really big news is yesterday we officially, finally finished the movie. We did our last quality control, last color corrections, last everything, and after 3 years, the movie is finally done, which is amazing. It's just been a very long journey, and the movie is finally done. And once we launch Shaken and Stirred, it means that I can concentrate on the next movie, which is a horror called Scissor, and that's going to take me 3-4 years to make, but you'll see the day-to-day journey every day of me and my team going through that. The plan with Scissor is to shoot it in Poland next year. It's a multi-million-dollar movie, so many things have to happen. But the first thing that has to happen before any of this can happen is we have to successfully launch Shaken and Stirred. If you're curious about the movie, there's a link down below to the trailer, and you can also there's a link down below as well to pre-order the movie with 10% off. So you can actually do that today, and the movie comes out in 4 weeks. So, what's the plan today? Well, I'm so excited that we finally finished the movie yesterday, but so I'm kind of taking it easy today. But what I have to do right now is I have to tidy up the place because like a week ago, a friend that I haven't seen in 7 years came over. You might have seen him on my YouTube. His name is Billy. And he came with Hector last week to film that interview of me. And I haven't seen Billy in 7 years, and it was so great to see him. But when we were chatting, I found out that he's invested all this money in crazy anamorphic lenses and a DJI Ronin, and he's spent a lot of money on some really cool production gear. And I said to him, if you ever want to learn anything film related, just hit me up, come over and I'll teach you. So him and his friend Pete, who I've never met, are coming over today for 3 hours, and I'm going to teach them about whatever they want to know. And I don't know what it is they want to know, but so we'll see, and hopefully they'll be cool with me filming this, and hopefully maybe I can teach them some VFX skills, maybe some color, maybe some film theory. So that's all happening today. But before they come over, I need to tidy up a little, just so that the place looks nice. So that's what I'm going to do right now. But once they leave around lunchtime, then Patrick will come over. And when Patrick comes over today, we have to start making a list of all the things I need to do to get ready for the premiere. And to give you some idea of some of those things, like, for example, I have to design the step and repeat board. We are self-distributing Shaken and Stirred. My film company 1905 Films is now technically a distributor because we're distributing this movie. Now, we didn't distribute the last movie, and we're not going to be distributing the next movie, but it just made total sense for this particular film because we had a built-in audience, namely bartenders all around the world, a grassroots audience of people who are really excited to see this film. So that's why we're self-distributing. But because of that, I've got to do things like, well, I've got to make a list. Some of the things I've got to do is, now that the movie's finished, I have to upload that to each of our affiliate accounts on our Vimeo OTT, which is a transactional video on demand off-the-shelf system that allows us to sell the movie through our website. And we have affiliates attached to that. But each affiliate has their own website, so I have to upload the film to each one of those, and I think we have like 18 affiliates or something, so there's 18 versions of the movie that have to be uploaded to that, so that when the movie gets released on March 26, it just seamlessly sends you an email, and then you can watch the movie or rent it or buy it. So I have to do that. What else do I have to do? Well, that's just it. I gotta make a list. I gotta buy an outfit for the red carpet. So I gotta go on Amazon and pick an outfit and order that and make sure it fits, and then send it back when it doesn't, and then reorder another outfit. We also have Patron has just come on as a sponsor for the premiere, Patron Tequila. So we're really, really excited about that. But yesterday there was a little snafu. There was a misunderstanding between the venue where the premiere is and one of the sponsors, and there was a little confusion, a miscommunication. So I had to, late last night, send some emails and try and clear that up, and I got to follow up on that today and make sure that's all tickety-boo and that's working. But first of all, let me tidy up a little. So let me put you guys, actually, let's go into the lab and start tidying up there. Oh, I'm going to need a little step ladder. One of the things I'm very excited about today is the fact that I can take the black drops down from the editing lab. We've had the room blacked out for the best part of about 6 weeks now because doing the final color, it's always best if you're in a dark environment, so you're not having sunlight come through the balcony windows and bounce off the monitor screens and you know, clouding your judgment on the color. So what we have here are the black backdrops in the edit lab, and the first thing I have to do is finally take them down, and I'm very, oops, where'd you guys go? And I'm very, very excited about taking these down because it gets depressing sitting in a black room all the time. That's literally what's happened for the last 6 weeks, or my business partner and myself. So I'm just up on a little step ladder, gotta get my clippies, and let there be light. So the whole pole thing fell down the curtain rail, but it's super lightweight, so no harm, no foul. I'm just trying to do this with one hand on the camera. Okie dokie, I can put that back up now. Okay, hopefully you can see. Okay, good enough. So let me go put these black drops away in the studio. My clippies. Let's go to the studio. Okie dokie. Let me throw the clippies in the clippy box. I have a whole box just for clippies. It's my clippy collection. All kinds of clips. Good stuff. It's getting warmer in Vegas. It's already quite warm today. Okay, so just gonna put these away. So how are you guys doing today? Just want to give a shout out to the 96 subscribers I now have. It's amazing. I've only been doing this YouTube channel a week and a half now, putting out videos every day, long form content, and I already have 95 subscribers, 96. So to each and every one of you, thank you so much. That's pretty amazing. So yeah, let me know how you guys are doing today. Comment down below. And let's see, what else do I have to tidy up? Oh, there's this guy. Just a lightweight stand. Nothing exciting here. Let some light in. put this director's chair away. Okay, let's see the studio now. Looking better. This is all a bit of a mess. So let me tidy that up. Okay, you guys still with me? You guys are still with me? Face track. Okay, cool. Okay. I can put my drone away that I was using the other day. We actually shot the last shot of Shaken and Stirred the other day with this drone. And we got chased a little bit by a police helicopter, but you can see that in one of the YouTube vids. Okay, let's see. This is all a bit of a mess. Okay, let's see the place. Oh, you know what? I gotta put away one of these lights. I gotta put away that light. Let me see. Okie dokie. Still getting used to this camera. It's the DJI Pocket 3 Osmo, and it's been great for this YouTube channel. Is it following me? Is it tracking me? Let's see. Okay, now it's tracking. It loses the track as I walk around, but... So this is a tube LED that my friend Nelson and I made. Made these like 10, 12 years ago. We got an LED strip, tube, some cables. This one's gelled up, but I actually have a ton of these in this gun case, and we have used these lights so many times. They're just daylight balanced, and they're not dimmable or anything, but they do kick out a ton of light. So let me show you guys these because they're so cool. And they cost like, at the time, it cost us like $35 a light to make. So here we go, have a look at these. In fact, you can see one of them right there, just clipped to a lightweight stand. Okie dokie, so let me put that away. If it feels like I'm forever cleaning up the studio, it's true, I am. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this works. Studio's done. Let's take a look at my lovely little studio. Here it is. Okay, cool. Good enough. Now I gotta clean up the lab. Lab's a little messier because I've been a hermit, just stuck in a world of color for so long. Okay, so we got a mess of headphones and stuff. It's just a little dusty in here. We got cables all over the place. So let me try tidying this up a bit. I love this guy. He's a little dead person with a pencil. I don't know if you guys can see how dusty it is in here. And then this little cable nightmare back here is where I hide stuff. I just hide these cables. Yikes. Oh, I also have to download new operating system software for the loop deck. Oh shit, Cookie, you okay? I think I just rolled over Cookie with my chair. Sorry, babe. You okay, darling? You okay? Did I just take that off your... I think I just took a piece of her tail off. Poor thing. My poor little dog. Okay. Let me get this desk organized. My Bose headphones away. I love these. These are so cool. Rose gold Bluetooth Bose headphones. And then I have another set of Bose headphones that aren't Bluetooth. And this is more for like monitoring camera when I'm on set for production. And of course, they are my favorite color, pink. Bright pink, so those are super cool. Are you okay, Cookie? Are you fed up that I'm not paying enough attention to you? Okay, we're getting there. So is Christmas. Okay, I think this is all looking good, minus the dust. So I'm just gonna get a cloth and wipe everything down. I'm so happy. My lab is clean, my studio is clean, my desk is clean. Look at this. Clean desk, which is amazing. So the next task is I gotta clean up my digital desktop because that's a mess. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna download that software for the loop deck and install that hopefully before my friends get here, and then I'll find out what they're interested in learning about in film, and then we'll get into a whole like kind of teaching mode. So today's gonna be interesting because it's gonna be a bunch of teaching. So stick around for that. Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm here with my friends Billy and my new friend Pete over here, and we're gonna learn about some film stuff. And so I just asked them a couple questions to see where they're at with stuff, and I guess we're going to start talking about aspect ratio, which in layman's terms is the shape of the picture. And I think it's always the most important thing to consider when you first tackle a project, because the shape of the picture can add context to the meaning of the story, right? And remember that, because we'll kind of circle back to that at the end. But I think first what we have to do is find out how we got here with aspect ratio, okay? So one thing I love is diagrams. I'm a diagrams person. Okay, so what is aspect ratio in terms of film? Aspect ratio is literally an aspect ratio, and what it sounds of the picture. So if we had a square here that has a size of 1:1, like an Instagram post, that would have an aspect ratio of 1:1, right? That makes sense. Okay, so if your second number of the aspect ratio is always 1, you don't have to write the second number. You could also express this as an aspect ratio of 1.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so how did we even get aspect ratios in the first place? Well, when cinema started, it was with celluloid, with film, right? And each manufacturer would have a different size cell on the film strip, okay? And when you hear things like Panavision or CinemaScope or like different, like these kinds of oldie terms of, cinema, what kind of screen, what kind of shape it is, or what the presentation is, it's literally referring to what film it was shot on, okay? So different stock, different film has different aspect ratios. Now, why is this important? Well, most of the aspect ratios were kind of rectangular, right?
Mm.
They were like, for example, something like that might be a 3:1, okay? I'm not saying it is, it's kind of in that ballpark, but you could also write the aspect ratio there as, anyone guess it? What would be the
3.
answer? 3, perfect, Pete. Cool. So that would be an aspect ratio 3, and that would be the film stock. And this all worked out for ages until TV came along. Because TVs had an aspect ratio of well, they were kind of almost square, but a little off square, and they had an aspect ratio of 4:3, okay? Which meant there was a problem. When you put a cinema image on a TV, you had 2 options. You could either shrink that down, right, to fit, which gave you what?
Less.
Let's.
Letterboxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
letterboxes.
Okay? Or you could make it the whole size of the screen, but then the problem is
You're cutting stuff out.
exactly. So this was a problem. So in the 70s, the solution was pan and scan. Okay? And pan and scan is a nightmare. Because what they did is they thought, okay, so we've got a 4:3 aspect ratio for TV. We're going to put the whole image on here, but what we're going to do is when we're converting it for TV, we're going to move that image left and right while the movie's going on, so you can see everything, okay? So with a movie like Lawrence of Arabia, you might have him, standing in the desert like this all alone, and they would scan it to over here so that he's standing here, but then you lose all the impact of the original image because he's small in the frame to convey the messaging of the massiveness of the desert, right? But then when you're panning and scanning, you've got a couple problems. One, it's blurrier because you're actually enlarging it to fit. And 2, you're selectively re-editing it. So the person who's converting that for the pan and scan in the 70s TV station is reinterpreting what the director's intent was. And it was a travesty, right? So guess what the solution was? Rectangle TVs. They thought, oh, we see an opportunity. Nearly everyone in the world has a TV. Let's see how we can sell them all a new TV. Let's make rectangle TVs, and we're going to call it high definition. Okay? They got us, all right? So they made rectangle TVs. Can anyone guess what the aspect ratio they decided was?
3:1.
You guys know the answer.
1080 by.
Which is 16:9.
16:9.
Yeah, 16:9 is the ratio, right?
Okay.
I didn't know that.
So HD is 16:9.
Okay.
Right? That means there are, for every 16 units this way, there are 9 units up, right?
Okay.
Okay. So there are different flavors of HD.
You want to use this one?
No, it's cool. I like my book because it's completely scatty and no order and everything's just, insane, and I like that. So there's different flavors of HD, okay? Let's talk about the difference between resolution and aspect ratio. Can either of you tell me what the difference is?
Resolution is how clear you can see it, and aspect ratio is just how it's put on the film. I don't know. I'm gonna mess it up.
So aspect ratio is literally a ratio of the size of the screen, right?
Okay.
Resolution is how many lines of pixels.
Okay.
So full HD is 1980, right? 1980 by 1020. Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah, 1980 by 1020. Okay, that means there are 1020 lines of pixels up the left-hand side or right side, up the side, and 1980 lines of pixels along the bottom. Okay, that is resolution. Resolution means how many lines of pixels, right? Not to be confused with aspect ratio, because aspect ratio is 16 by 9, which that is divisible by. Okay.
So you could say aspect ratio is the shape, and resolution is what's filling the
Well,
shape?
resolution will tell you what the shape is as well,
Okay.
because 1980, if you by 1020, if you if you break that down to the smallest denominator, it'll be 16 by 9.
Okay.
Okay.
So just throwing it out there,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm confused a little bit. Why have both?
Well, that's like saying why is a wheel also a circle? Okay, one defines what the object is, but one defines what the shape is.
Right.
So the aspect ratio, maybe that's not a great analogy, but you get the point. The aspect ratio will tell you what the shape is, like I said, but the resolution will tell you how many lines. So let me give you an example. This is full HD. You've also heard of what I call diet HD, okay? And that is 720. 720 by, I think it's 1280. Is that right? Maybe.
That sounds about
let,
right.
let me look that up for the second figure, but 720. You guys have heard of HD 720, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and you've heard of HD 1980 or 1020. 1020. 10,
Isn't
no,
that
no,
the
1920, 1080. 1920, that's why I sounded wrong, 1080. Right? You've heard of 1080 HD and you've heard of 720 HD, right?
Yes.
Well, 720 by let me look up these resolutions on here. Resolution charts, maybe. Some of these are cracked out. Some of these are pretty basic. Yeah, so 1280. What did I say? 1280. Yes. 720 by 1280. Okay, which is also 16 by 9. Okay, it's the same aspect ratio. It's just less lines of pixels.
Okay.
Okay, so it's two flavors of HD. Right, this full HD, 1080. Mini or diet HD as I call it, 720. But they both have the same aspect ratio. Okay. Now full HD is actually Blu-ray, and diet HD is DVD, and that might be shocking to think that DVDs are 720 HD. But the way they sold us on upscaling that was like, oh well, Blu-ray is even better. But it's only 1080. It's not. Blu-ray isn't 4K.
No.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They sold us on the 4K then. After that.
Yeah, I think after they originally Blu-ray was just like one side, I think, and when they started doing 4K Blu-rays, they started doing the other side as well, like the way it's printed or something. But basically, 1080 is like Blu-ray and 720 is like DVD.
Okay.
Okay, so that's HD. Okay, so let's have a look at this practically and how we can use this information for evil. Okay, let's just create a new project in Premiere. Let's put that on the desktop. Desktop, yeah, just the desktop, sure. Okay, create. I don't want to bring any images in, but let me just create a new sequence.
So is this how you always start a project?
No. New sequence. Let's do 1080. Yeah, let's do a 1080. Okay, so if we go to our sequence settings, we will be able to see what the size is. This is 1920 by 1080. Okay, so let me just create a mat to demonstrate the different sizes. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll just draw it, and it'll be quicker than trying to do this with the dog on my lap. So let me pull up a resolution chart to give you some kind of idea. I guess this one's pretty good for basic. Yeah, okay. So 480 by 640 is standard definition, okay? Which is like 4 by 3, okay? And then you can see 720 here, how much bigger it is. It's almost like twice the size of standard definition. But you can see 1080, which is the same aspect ratio as 720, which is 16 by 9, is like even bigger than that, okay? Now let's look at some bigger sizes. Yeah, it's confusing as fuck, but it's pretty good. Okay, so when you go up in size to 2K, it's 2048 pixels by 1080, okay? And then when you go up to 4K, there's something weird with 4K. There's like, this isn't a good chart. Let's see this one. Oh yeah, this is better. Okay. When you get to 4K, there's actually two flavors of 4K, right? There's 4096 by 2160, which is true 4K, kind of like full 1080. But the problem with that is it's not 16 by 9. So what a lot of people shoot 4K in is 3840 by 2160, which is also known as UHD for ultra high definition. It's another way of selling it. It's like, oh, it's ultra high definition. Right. It's not. It's diet 4K.
It's another gimmick.
Okay, it's diet 4K. But you can see how like a 1920 by 1080 image is tiny compared to that massive image. Okay? Now, why is this important? Well, it's always important to know what you're going to film something in and what you're going to output it in, because the two things might be different.
Okay.
Right? Like, for example, in 2013, I did a short, Boy Meets Girl.
Yeah.
And it was, we shot it in 4K, but we knew we were going to put it out in 1080. Now, at the time, 4K was kind of new and a bit of a pain in the ass to shoot in, right? But the whole reason why we were going to do that was because the short was set in space and zero gravity. And you guys are familiar with the rule of thirds, right? Yeah. One of the gimmicks I did in the short to elicit this feeling of weightlessness, along with other things, but one of the things I did in post was I would rotate every single frame so that the end of the shot ended up on a rule of 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So you constantly have this feeling of buoyancy, right? Now the problem with this is, if I was putting out in 1080, and I shot it in 1080, as soon as I rotate the image, there would be black spots there and there, right? Because I'm rotating that image. It would, like, you know, if I rotated at 90 degrees, you'd have the opposite of letterboxing, which is called what? Pillar boxing.
Pillow, okay.
Like, you got pillar and letter, okay?
Oh, okay.
That's the only two things you need to know about letterboxing. So to avoid that, I shot it in 4K, so that as I rotated the image, you wouldn't get those black things, right? Another advantage of shooting in 4K or 8K or 6K or bigger formats than what you're outputting is, if you're shooting a big image like this and outputting like that, you could have a situation where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure whether I want this to be a wide shot of two people talking or whether I want it to be one person. Well, you can shoot that like that and reframe it here. Okay?
Yes.
If you are unsure of what to do on the day, you could shoot it bigger and put it here. Now, another reason for for shooting in a big format, do you guys know what open gate is? Okay, so open gate is a term from real film, and basically the gate that opens to expose the celluloid is kind of the equivalent of the shape of the digital sensor on your camera. And most digital sensors are square, but we live in an HD world and we know that's rectangular. So most sensors and cameras don't actually give you everything it sees. Okay? And open gate is a way of shooting the whole thing, right? Is literally opening, letting the entire sensor be exposed. Okay? Now, why this is important is because I have a 6K cinema camera on that. So if I shoot open gate, I get a very, very, very tall image, right? And in a short that I did, Scissor Mouth, we had a camera move that starts pointing at the ceiling and then comes down to point at the main action. And the ceiling was going to be CGI and everything, but in order to track that, Blender needs 8 points in a track that are constantly in frame. So if I'm tracking from there to there, the best way for me to get 8 points consistently is have a very tall image. So I shot it in 6K open gate, exposing the entire sensor and getting a really, really tall image. Okay, so these are some of the reasons to understand resolution. Okay, because obviously you have many different resolutions to choose from when you're shooting, from like a square, aspect ratio of 1 for Instagram potentially, all the way up into 8K, right? And there's different reasons for shooting at different resolutions.
If I shoot though,
Yeah.
in a square image, let's say,
Yeah.
for
So
whatever reason,
square resolution, one aspect ratio.
yes.
Yeah.
How does that change then the resolution?
Oh,
Because
well, what you input and what you output are different. What your camera sees is what you put into your editing software, and then what you export it, you have a choice to manipulate
if
the
I'm
export.
on my camera changing the aspect ratio, I'm not really changing the resolution though.
Well, let me see. That's like the which comes first, the chicken or the egg type thing.
Kind of, yeah. That's
yeah.
where it gets a little confusing for me.
Okay, let me give you some examples of why you would choose different aspect ratios as a creative choice, and maybe that some of the fog will dissipate.
Yeah, like I mean, what I've studied
Yeah.
is a lot of times if you want to do like a square, it's usually like to show that someone's trapped or it's a tight space to create more. You know, you wouldn't want something wide if maybe somebody was trapped in a room.
Right. Well, there's a difference between having a 16:9 frame and framing the image so that like maybe there's 2 dark walls here and you have a square that's lit in the center. Okay, that's just the frame within a frame. Okay. The resolution. Remember, the resolution is how many lines down by how many lines across, which could be interpreted as quality. Okay, and the aspect ratio is literally like is it a long skinny image, or is it like my 6K thingy like that? So the aspect ratio kind of tells you about the shape of the image, and I think the next bit will kind of demystify why.
Okay.
So let's keep going for a second. But go on, ask a question.
I have a question because this is something that pertains to me. I love how you know me that well. I've been shooting with my anamorphics, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm shooting it in 4K or 6K.
Right.
What would be the purpose of shooting an anamorphic lens when you're putting it down to like a 1080? Like, how do you reframe that without it being distorted?
Okay.
And all that kind of stuff.
So.
Am I jumping ahead of?
You are jumping ahead to a point that I lack knowledge, and I'll tell you why. I've only ever had to de-squeeze one something short anamorphic, and then edit it and de-squeeze it the proper way to get it ingested into my non-linear editor like Premiere, and then I had to research how to export it out so that it was the right resolution that the filmmakers had told me they wanted. Now, things get a little crazy with anamorphic, and I haven't had the privilege of playing with anamorphic, which is one of the things I want to talk to you about today.
You get together.
Yeah. So I can't hand on my heart answer that, but the next bit of information I think will get you one step closer to understanding this and why it's important. So let's talk about aspect ratio as a creative choice. Okay, so let me check on Vimeo if I have a copy of my short Boy Meets Girl, and I'll show you. I'm going to show you some different examples of how different filmmakers, including myself, choose to play with aspect ratio. Okay, sure, let's use this as a quick example. Maybe I should record my screen so people can see what I'm talking about. Quick time. Okay,
When you record, do you usually have it record into your computer, or do you have like a separate hard drive for just that?
No, just record to my desktop. I haven't got time for anything fancy the way I'm pumping out these YouTube videos. Okay, so that is recording. Great. Okay, so this is a short I did called Dark Lights, and what you'll notice is, well, actually I can tell you, it is a 16:9 frame. Okay, so I output it in 16:9, right? But I put letterboxing on it to force an aspect ratio of the image,
Okay.
right? So I haven't changed, the aspect ratio is still 16:9, but as far as the viewer is concerned, I've put like
You put that
letterboxing.
letterbox.
I put that.
Yeah,
And
I
you
put
did that
two-
so you're able to like move it up and down out of your choice, or is it
No,
like,
no. This is what I mean about choosing aspect ratio and knowing what your input and output is at the beginning of storytelling, because it affects your storytelling. Okay, this entire short is a sneak peek into the life of a vampire.
Okay.
Okay, and so I wanted it to be very voyeuristic. Okay, like you're peeking in on a world you shouldn't be seeing.
Mhm.
So I closed up the aspect ratio to give the viewer that feel of, oh my gosh, I'm looking
you're
at
looking through like a,
I'm maybe seeing something I shouldn't be seeing, you know? Plus also it was pretty VFX heavy, and I knew in advance that if I blacked out the top and the bottom, I'd have to deal with less pixels in post.
mm-hmm.
Huh.
So those choices affected my
Mm-hmm.
my choice here. And let me show you my favorite shot of the movie real quick, because it's just epic. Oh no, it's not that. It
This
is.
nice.
Hold on, let me show you. That was filmed in my living room.
And you just masked out.
Yeah. Hold on, let me show you my favorite shot because it's so epic. I think it's coming up here. Come on, play. Okay. It's the shot after this. Check this out for epic VFX shot. Turn my speakers on. What's funny is those are my legs.
So wait, you're shooting this on a green screen? You're shooting?
No, I very rarely use green screen. I'm not a fan of green screen. I mean, if you're gonna cut it out, you're gonna cut it out.
So
regardless.
you pretty much just have like this as like what your video is. And
Yeah,
everything
it's
else is-
just like that little bit.
synthesizer stuff. You shot that on your DJI?
Yeah,
Your
that shot.
that's
yeah.
4K? Or what did you shoot that at? Like
I think we shot that 4K. Yeah.
you shot that at 4K?
I don't know how you did any of that.
Okay, well, I'm showing you the first. It starts
So
with,
good.
thank you. It starts with the choice of what you want the shape of your picture to be,
Yes.
because it supports the emotional journey. Now, let me
Right.
show you another example.
Oh.
And these are both cheats because I'm putting the black bars
You
on.
did
right?
16:9. Why though? What was your reasoning for that?
Well, to be honest, it was make it easy for film festivals.
There you go.
So that was my output choice on that.
16:9 is a film festival choice.
It was on that project, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Would you say 16:9 is the general consensus? When it
Yeah,
comes
because
to-
16:9 is HD, right?
Yeah, so that's
So-
that's
That's
the
what we're
whole,
wrapping
that's
around.
the general
Yeah.
kind of thing you want to do.
But let me show you where that changes and how that changes and why. Okay, so let me see if I can find the short that I did in. Do I not even have a copy of that anymore? This is crazy. How do I find a copy of my short that I made? that won Emmys. I don't even know if it is on. Oh, great! It's on the internet. So this was a short I made in 2013, and I really didn't know anything when I was doing this, but I did know how I could manipulate an aspect ratio. Okay, so this again was made in 16:9 because at the time I didn't know any better, but I did have the foresight to put heavy black bars on here. Oh wow, it's only 720 HD. But watch what happens, okay? So this is set in space, right? And so I do a little trick here. It's not very common to do this trick. Look how heavy the aspect ratio is. Watch the aspect ratio.
Oh, I see it.
Look how it widened up as we go into the expanse of space.
That's cool.
Right? So if I hadn't pointed that out, you wouldn't have noticed that. But you might have felt, like watching that on a big cinema screen, you might have felt like, wow,
Yeah, I did
space.
that with my video, Everything's Alright, when we were shooting that. Like, we just had it sitting on a tripod, but I did that to kind of emphasize certain moments to create that feeling of you're caught in something, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. You can use it to manipulate the audience. Now, Zack Snyder's Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's see, aspect ratio. Now everything is 16:9, right? Because
and that's why you have those like boxes on your camera then for the safety boxes.
Oh, well, what, the lines?
Yeah, the lines.
The guides?
Well, I only have the safety boxes where it tells me
what the safe zone is?
what the safe zone
I'll have
is.
to have a look at that because I
I
can
want
tell you how to
zero
interpret
thirds.
that. Yeah.
I'd like to have third lines, but I don't have that on that.
So you know how yeah, thirds are handy. You know how Justice League he redid it, right?
Yes, yeah.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay, so the original was a 2:39:1 aspect ratio, right?
Yeah.
AKA 2:39, right?
Okay.
Now, why do you think it's a weird number? Because that's the film stock. Okay? Film stock don't give a hell about digital, 16:9, 10:5, 1:, they just make the shape and it just happens to be 2:39:1. But when he redid it, he did it in a very controversial standard definition 4:3 aspect ratio, which means if you watch the Justice League on a HDTV, what do you think happens? You get pillar boxing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now why did he do that? Can either of you answer me that?
My guess would be because he wanted it to feel like it was a comic book.
Exactly, bang on the money. Because when you have a rectangular image and you put a superhero in it, they are small in the frame.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay, but when you make the aspect ratio 4:3, they all of a sudden they're big in the frame. It gives them power. Okay, so there is an example of a filmmaker choosing right from day one that the aspect ratio to support the message of the story.
Mm-hmm.
That these are bigger than life characters we're talking about. Let me show you another movie that aspect ratio was a creative choice. Aspect ratio. Let's do. I know. Wes Anderson. What was it? Grand Budapest Hotel. Grand Budapest Hotel. Have you guys seen this movie?
Yes.
Have you seen it? No. Okay. It's a comedy, and it has 3 different aspect ratios in it. 1.37, 1.85, and 2.35. It has 3 different aspect ratios in the movie.
What's the name of the show?
The Grand Budapest Hotel. And the reason for the 3 aspect ratios in the movie, can you guess?
Create different points of time, I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it just
on the
was-
money. It was 3 different time periods.
Mm-hmm.
And so one, you've got letterboxing on the top and the bottom. One, you've got letterboxing on the side. It's literally, pillar boxing on the side. It's literally 3 different aspect ratios. Let me see if I can find a quick video about this. There we go, explained.
To delineate the 3 different time periods, Anderson used different aspect ratios that were popular photographic formats for each time period. The Squarer Academy 1.37 for the 1930 scenes, widescreen 2.40 anamorphic for the 1960s, and 1.85 for the 1980s. This time, Yeoman shot in the Aries.
Okay, so...
So with that 1930s one, you're gonna obviously get letterboxing, right?
Yeah, well, and,
When you
and
watch it
pillow
on-
boxing on one of them as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's almost like creating a square frame in a way, or kind of a square.
Well, it's changing the shape of the picture for sure. And that's what's so important. Like, so if I'm along with lighting ratios on faces, like you might think, oh, I'm doing a comedy, so I'm gonna have a 1-to-1 lighting ratio here, and it's gonna be a comedy, so it's gonna be, you know, I want mass wide appeal, so I'm gonna shoot it in 1080. But I'm unsure of myself with the framing, so I'm gonna output it in 1080 because that's the deliverable to the distributor. But I'm gonna shoot it in 4K so I can reframe. Or, you know, it's important to know all these beats,
Right.
so that you can control your storytelling from the jump. Let me show you how a master does it.
There are few films that loom quite as large as Jurassic Park. 26 years later, and the rather quaint 15 minutes of dino carnage still remain one of the greatest examples of movie magic. Jurassic Park is of course all about bringing these extinct animals to life, and a lot of that credit goes to the brilliant engineers at ILM and Stan Winston Studios. However, the spellbinding effect that these creatures hold on us is largely due to the assured direction of Steven Spielberg. Jurassic Park is perhaps the greatest visual achievement from our greatest visual storyteller. Today I want to examine the images directed by Spielberg and captured by cinematographer Dean Cundy, and how dinosaurs were brought to life through scale and framing. There's a desire for our blockbusters to be larger than life, and Jurassic Park embodies this in more ways than one. First, there is the aspect ratio. Now, most big-budget films you'll see are shot in the 2:35:1 aspect ratio, aka CinemaScope. Now, action films are almost made for...
Now, remember, CinemaScope is the name of the stock. Like, if you went to whoever makes CinemaScope and you're like, you know, I need 50 feet of CinemaScope.
for this aspect ratio.
But is that
Take
if you're
shots
filming it with actual film?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Versus digital.
Well, digital, you can replicate the shape, obviously, of
Yeah.
CinemaScope, but CinemaScope
CinemaScope refers to classic filmmaking.
Well, it refers to the stock of film.
Of actual film.
That where we got the aspect ratio for
Gotcha.
cinema stock. So
Okay.
for CinemaScope. So you could do something digitally and say it's in CinemaScope, and you wouldn't be lying because it would be the aspect ratio.
Oh, okay, I got you.
even tighter, and a greater emphasis is put on lateral movement, which almost every single action scene is built around. I should also point out that Fallen Kingdom was also shot in this format. Jurassic Park, on the other hand, is shot in the 1:8:5:1 aspect ratio, which gives 24% more vertical space in the frame. Spielberg uses this extra 24% to its full potential, and the best way to explain how is to compare the iconic Bronchiosaurus scene to a similar one from the latest sequel. First, let's go over the types of shots and how they're used in this scene. You'll notice that all the shots of the principal cast are medium shots taken roughly at eye level. The characters remain stationary as they look up at this behemoth. In the first wide shot of the Bronchiosaurus, the dino nearly blends into the terrain and central building. When the characters share the frame with the dinosaur, they do so evenly, if not giving the humans more presence. As the Bronchiosaurus leaves the scene, it gets cluttered by other objects, with this vehicle taking up more space in the frame. The characters are meant to be struck with awe and wonder. But did you feel that awe and wonder? Okay, enough playing around. Steven, show them how it's done. In this scene, the characters don't just react, but also stand up into frame. Jurassic Park is very much a film about verticality. This Jeep starts in frame, but is quickly abandoned by the camera to track the dinosaur. The camera pans to cover the length and tilts to cover the height. When sharing the frame with the dinosaurs, Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler are kept to the bottom half of the frame, relying on exaggerated body language to convey their emotions. The medium shot is only used when more than one person is shown, and that's to emphasize the group dynamic. The low shot we saw in Fallen Kingdom is even lower here, and again keeps the humans as small as possible. We finally get a full view of the Bronchiosaurus in this climactic wide shot. The humans are so small and low in the frame that in the CinemaScope aspect ratio they would be cut from the shot. As the dinosaur stands up, it matches the size and shape of these trees, fully communicating the scale of this creature. Spielberg is using every compositional trick.
So you start to see how aspect ratio is going to determine the big idea of your story. And actually, on that point, just want to talk real quick about the big idea. Any story, I know you said you were writing a screenplay and stuff. Like any story, there should be a big idea or a central theme, or like what if I said to you, what is it about, and to just tell me, not telling me about the plot, but what is it about? Like, for example, what is Star Wars about? Star Wars is about the battle between light and dark, good and evil in space, right? When you know what the big idea is, you then apply it to every choice in the film. Like when you're like, oh, this character is at a crossroads and they're going to say something or make a choice, or that big idea has to influence how you write their language, their choices, because that's the story you're telling.
Interesting.
And whatever that big idea is needs to be reinforced by the aspect ratio. The big idea in Dark Lights was that, we're peeking into a solitary person's world that we shouldn't be seeing into. Like the big idea was that in our midst there are monsters walking among us. That's the big idea, and having that aspect ratio being like a peek into that world, like seeing what you're not supposed to be seeing, kind of reinforce that big idea.
Now that movie you mentioned.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, so if I were to watch that on an old TV, like a square,
Yeah.
then the 1930s image would pretty much take up the whole screen?
No,
And then the
because,
other images would be...
because the Grand Budapest Hotel is probably outputted as 16:9.
Okay,
And that's why when you watch it on your TV, that's why you get those bars.
Gotcha.
The pillboxes and letterboxing.
okay.
So if you put that on a standard definition TV, like an old TV,
Yeah.
you would have to shrink the image down, so it would naturally have letterboxing, and then it would have
okay.
additional letterboxing,
So
and then
even
additional
smaller, okay.
pillboxing on the side.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah. Cool. So I think that's aspect ratio. And hey guys, if you're still here, you're insane, and I love you. But I'll put links to the videos that I was showing, and because knowledge is power, and sharing is caring. But I'm gonna take a break from this right now while I chat to these guys about some other stuff. And there ended the first lesson. What do you think, guys?
Amazing.
Awesome.
Did you learn anything?
I learned a lot.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys coming over.
Appreciate the information.
Honestly, this was a really nice break for me because it's just been so dialed into the movie that.
Well, look forward to that too. I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Back to the grind.
Back to the grind.
Back to the
So, guys,
grind.
Patrick just showed up, and I gotta kick the boys out and get on with the next task. But
Thank you.
yeah, no, man, of course. How you doing, Pat?
Good.
Pat's doing his
Peter.
Hey, Patrick.
his regular say hi to Cookie.
Hey,
Really.
sausage.
Sausage. Yummy. Turn my mic on.
Thanks for you too.
Yummy. Oh, amazing. Thank you. Yay, coffee. So what's the crack-a-lacka? What's going on, man?
What's going on?
What is going on?
Got a list of things to do today.
What do we have to do today?
Well, for you,
Uh-oh.
if you can get the silver film, go to and see if you can get one of the documents we need for the bank.
Oh, yeah. Let me add that to my list. Oh, it's already on my list.
Yeah.
Silver flume. Okay. What else are we doing?
You gotta take a picture of me holding up this poster.
Ooh, what poster is that?
John's film.
Oh, nice. You got the poster.
Yeah.
Cool, let's see it.
I want to show that I got it and then promote it.
Okay.
We can do that later.
Okie
Oh,
dokie.
here, I'll show you.
Yeah, show me the poster.
Another filmmaker here in Vegas. I supported his Indiegogo campaign. It's a documentary about this guy who's innovator in camera lenses. Johnny teaches at College of Southern Nevada. Yeah, it's his film. It should be done this year. We're gonna have a screening in the Bay Area where this guy, his subject matter was based in the camera shop that he had for decades. John's from California too. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun screening. And I always give enough to get the poster whenever I.
You love posters.
Whenever I go to give money to an Indiegogo campaign. So yeah, I'm excited. So I wanted to get a picture and then I'll promote it and hey, I'm so excited I got this.
Awesome.
Which if you support us, hopefully you'll do the same. So yeah. So.
Nice plug there. By the way, what do you think? Look at all the daylight. We're not in a little cave anymore. Have you noticed how bright it is in here?
Yeah. I love it.
It's nice, right?
Yeah. I love
Feels open and nice. Okay. I need to grab some coffee and make a list.
it. Yeah, we'll have to make it work. I'll get up early.
What time is the meeting?
7 a.m. our time, 4 p.m. Paris time. That's
Oh,
what's
yeah,
best.
you do the meeting from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
So March 10th, okay. We'll see. Good.
So the big task I have to do right now is the other day when we went to the bank to create the bank account for our limited partnership for the studio, we're missing one document from the state and they wouldn't open the bank account. So I got to go into the state website and see if I can find that. To be honest, I'm just happy not to be doing color today. It feels good to be taking a break. It's nice to see Billy. It's nice to meet Pete. And it's nice not to be like just staring at a computer screen all day long.
And we just got an email from a European distributor, so they want to meet us for 4 p.m. Paris time, which means 7 a.m. our time.
Which day?
March 10th.
March 10th, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a Wednesday, I believe. I have no idea. Yeah, I think it's Wednesday. But yeah, so it's like, but yeah, we'll do it.
We'll do it.
We'll do it.
The joy of
7 a.m.
the joy of filmmaking.
7 a.m. meetings, I love them.
So how do you feel about Shaken and Stirred being finished?
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
I'm
Did
gonna
you
send it to
see
our-
I uploaded it to Vimeo?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to our lawyer right now.
Okay, amazing. Amazing. So that's going to go off to legal for all of the last final checks.
Okay, let's put this down. Do you have a calendar? Put this down.
On the side of that calendar, right?
Yeah. Where's your
Sharpie.
Sharpie?
Put it on the calendar.
Oh, it's a Monday. Yeah, perfect.
Hey guys, I got some exciting news. So I just came up with an idea that I pitched to Patrick, and the idea was this. When people have finished watching the movie on the director's cut on our website, Shaken and Stirred, we want to have a little video at the end of the movie, and it would basically be myself and Lindsay Palumbo, one of the stars of the movie, and we would basically be telling the audience, thank you so much for watching the movie. It would really, really help us out if you could write an unbiased, honest review on IMDB.com. And it costs nothing to sign up, and you can create an account. And for every review we get on IMDB.com, the algorithm will push out the movie to another 10 people when it does come out on Amazon later in the year. So basically, I just called up Lindsay and I said, hey, can you come over? Like, when's your next day off? She was like, tomorrow morning. I'm like, amazing. Can you come over tomorrow morning? And we will just film this little video, her and me, and get this done. So we'll have to start early tomorrow, Pat, to set up the lighting and get the studio shipshape. So that's exciting. Other than that, I've just been working through some putting out fires. Still, there's a little bit of confusion between one of our sponsors and the venue regarding the invoice and the amounts and all that stuff. And I basically had to put out some fires with some phone calls, texts, and emails, and I had to rely on Patrick to do some research on the numbers, and he's amazing at always getting things squared away.
Sent the movie to our lawyer.
We sent the movie to our lawyer for the final legal, so that's good. And so yeah, 4 weeks is going to go real quick. 4 weeks till the premiere, so there is a lot of like little kind of officey things that need to take care of. So that's basically what we're doing. So it's not very exciting, but it's a lot of emails and phone calls and all that kind of thing. But I'm actually going to sign off for the day today because this is a lot. It's a lot being on YouTube every day. And I'm still not sure if I'm totally comfortable with it. In fact, I'm not. But I'm happy that you guys are watching and that you're here. And thank you so much to all 96 subscribers. If you enjoy this long form content, please click in the circle up here and subscribe. And thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.